So I came across some things online and I saw this really interesting thing about the slave who actually discovered vaccines. Now, hear me out. This was very interesting information, right? In the 1700s, I think it was about around 1721 or something like that, the 1720s. There was a slave, and I think he was owned by some minister, and you guys can go look this up. But this slave who had been brought over on the slave ships, you know, figured out a way to take like the dramatic fluid, if you will, from these sick people and inoculate other folks, right? And it was really something that they had learned from. They had drawn from a method that they had used back in the homeland in Africa somewhere, right? So now we flash forward many, many, many generations later, and we're all sitting here talking about vaccines, right? In that instance, that was a game changer. But I'm trying to show you that even in the greatest of things, folks, even in the most directive of things, like in the move and shake of everything, right? Consistently throughout history, right? With inventions and all types of things, you have seen, little pieces of truth pop out here and there, right? You weren't taught it in school, obviously, because you're learning now because everything's coming out now in this age, but you're learning that there was a concerted effort made by certain folks, the demoniacs, to keep this information from getting in your minds, you know. So a lot of children go to school and get indoctrinated on whatever they want them, because to the victor goes the spoils. And if you hold the gun and you hold the military might, so called, then you're able to rewrite the narratives in history. So if I were to go to the average person, this is the point I made this up, and just y'all follow me on this. I'm just, I'm all over the place, but there's a method to my madness. But if I ask the average person, in the world at large somewhere, you know, who do they contribute any breakthroughs in modern medicine? Who do they contribute these things to? And we can look in books and we can find all of these demoniac folks who are all in a covet, right, on various levels, who have a strong hold over all of these selective occupations, right, and they generationally put their children through these things. You have your meteorologists, and they have children, and their children will learn the trade, so to speak, and all of these different smiths and different people who know these things, right? And so in present day, you find yourself, and all of this is relative, is what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people who are downtrodden, the people who are, who have the worst of times, which is everybody right now, but I'm trying to show you that throughout history, it was always a particular group of folks, right? I saw something else where someone was talking about how they went to a very underprivileged school, and they had a dominant majority of a group of folks who they weren't. This is a white guy, and he was saying he still went on to be famous and make it in this world, right? And I thought about all of the people who had the same type of mind as that slave who you know spearheaded modern medicine on a vaccinational level, right? Because right now this thing is evil. But I'm just saying, folks, the breakthroughs and our understanding of certain things on that level came from this guy. He spearheaded. Go look it up. 1720s, right? Now, if I ask the average person, like I was saying, because I'm all over the place, the average person would probably frown at that, or be very, you know, would be very enlightened about that, right? So when you take that and you look at the modern world and you look at, people who are unemployed, people who, I brought up in other videos, farmers, people who messed around with the agricultural thing in the fields and stuff, and who just wanted to, you know, grow their food and, make a life for themselves. They were shut out from things and programs. And you saw all those checks get written over the last, couple of years back in the previous administration. You saw these checks get written out and people were getting $100,000 checks and all types of payouts. But it was never the people, right, who are still underprivileged at this present point. So now that everybody is suffering, which is what I told you guys, that your jobs were going to go, money was going to go. And when I say these things, some of you get upset because you're basic, you're third dimensional, and your reasoning is based on what's going on right now. You don't understand the higher power, right? You don't give praise to the Most High Source, Creator of the universe, Vishnu, whom I give praise and devote this video. You don't acknowledge His hand in your day to day, right? And you think more, you believe more in terms of chance versus His directive. And that's how you guys think, right? Versus how He wants you to move in this world, because He holds your soul. Okay, so you get upset because you're getting these things taken away from you by the day, right? And even in those things, right, which was a constructing society and still put you in slavery, even if you had the best of the slavery, even if you had the best of these quote unquote jobs, right, you were still working for someone. And like I said, even back in previous generations, like, you use the Civil War or something. And I explained this to y'all in some old video way back somewhere, y'all could find it. But I was trying to reason with you psychology and how clever these fucking devils were to get a bunch of dirt farmers to go out and get their heads blown off and run out in a charge in a rebel yell battle cry and get cannon explosions and fucking bayonets, to their fucking hearts and stuff, and get all of these things. And they lost many, many lives. And go look up the body count on that. A lot of people died in that shit, in that conflict. But specifically, those folks who fought for the interest of keeping slavery and keeping slaves did not own slaves themselves. Do you see where I'm going with this? Right? So how was that rich baron, how was that rich planner or whoever he was, how was he able to convince a dirt farming guy who didn't have shoes on his feet, who barely could clothe his own children, who could barely keep meals throughout the week, because they worked jobs back then, right? The slaves were slaves, but the free, society, the dominant society, they had to work jobs, right? And it's still like that in present day. That 1% still exists. That old money is present, right? In present day, right now, right? So how did they do that, folks? They gave them a few crumbs and everybody went along with it. They watched them oppress these other folks and they figured, well, I'm getting something. They let me be in charge of these people. They let me patty roll these people. They let me be over these people. You see where I'm going with this? So what happened was these rich people kept getting richer because the regular people in society who worked, who actually, knew how to use that gun, who actually knew how to use that hoe in the field or whatever, who actually knew how to milk those cows and do all that work, whether they were slaves or members of the dominant society at the time. If they had reasoned that these misers and hoarders who had all of this gold and all of this money and stuff, right, and had all of the things and were in control of all of these things and were giving them crumbs, if they reasoned that, if they just got and talked with each other and compared things and if they had that type of sense where they could see things for what they are, then they would be able to see who the real enemies are, and they would get the pitchforks out and they could proceed to bring in the justice that they would have needed, that would have corrected their own things. But their own egos is what got in the way of that. And I'm talking about those people who were in dominant society, right? Because the war itself was not, and I'm not talking about history here, but I'm just making a point. I'm not trying to go into this, what I'm saying, but the war itself was about commodity. It was never about morality, ever. And what that says is you had a huge lot of people, right, who all lost their lives, right? And I'm sure they found themselves in a new existence somewhere in the hellish world somewhere, because you guys understand morals on paper. If I were to talk to you about what a moral is, you guys could give me some description that you saw in a dictionary, and you probably could articulate it on some level and use your own experiences to describe such a thing, how you could have shown morality or understood it or something, conceptualized it, right? On paper, yeah, you guys can idealize anything on paper. But when it comes to the bare bones, heart, like we always talk about, that ego seems to creep in and not allow you guys to see things for what they are. Right? So then, like I said, you have a situation where everybody in present day is out of work. And they're pointing fingers at each other and shit. I've seen these videos online where people are blaming other poor people for the fact that they barely have food in their refrigerator or something, and they're left with $20 on a paycheck or something. That lady who did that video, and she was pointing her fingers at all of the other people who are piss poor just like she is. Not reasoning that she was tax burdened, not reasoning that, that when she worked all week, somebody reached in and took everything she had and the little $5 she had left. She could either, buy her something to eat, or she could hold that money and try to save it and build it, so the next go around they could take that money from her too, right? It's called the hamster wheel. All of us are on this hamster wheel on various levels, but we're still on the fucking wheel. When you guys are privy to seeing what's beyond this foolishness, you will never want to go back to this foolishness ever again. This is why the new day is coming, folks. Because there has to be a reset, because there's too much immoral shit going on, right? Men's hearts are very hardened in this age. And you see it play out where they're very cold and callous and foolish with that, right? You see? So, I was talking to the Lord about this, and I was actually recalling something that He did to teach me something, because everything I do, every day I walk with the Lord is a lesson for me, right? And it's sharpening me, it's making me see the humility. Humility is one of the most powerful words that I will use throughout these lessons. And I want you guys to internalize that word, because if you can express humility, then you're really doing something, right? But I was thinking back to, I've gained a few friends out, by my shed, and I know them by name. And if I told you their names, you would laugh, because it would be so fucking ironic, right? But I've gotten to know some of them on personal levels where I know their names, and when I go out, I can call them and they'll come out and stuff like that. And I recall the day that I was going to throw something out. I had like a sandwich or something, and it was like a little half of a tuna sandwich or something. And I was, throwing it out. I was actually outside, and I was going to the trash can to pitch it. And then I thought maybe I'll walk over there, out there, and and I'll talk to my friends, and I'll share with them, right? Because it's just a piece of bread that I'm throwing away. See, I'm considering the fact that nature has to live. You see, the Lord provides for me, and that's what I was telling him. I was like, Lord, you have provided for me in the grimmest of times, Lord. You have come through for me all the time. You make sure I have everything I need, right? Who would I be to not consider the next being? Do you understand what I'm saying? On any level, no matter what they are, who they are. You see what I'm saying? I don't reason any animals or creatures as me being better than them on a level where I can't reason that they're here too, right? We're coexisting. That's what I said before, right? When I see those animals as a commodity, then I'm able to numbly, because I'll use that word, and very coldly and calculatingly, use them for what I want, right? For my purposes. If it's about making coats, then if I sell 1,000,000 coats a year, then I need to chop up 3,000,000 animals a year for these coats. You see what I'm saying? If the animals are providing me with medicines from their body or whatever I'm getting from these animals, I need to keep producing these animals because the demand is so great. And that's called commodity, by the way, because that's what the devils, that's what they stand on. They stand on basic stuff. That's why right now all this shit is going on. And you'll still hear people talking about Bitcoin and trying to sell stocks. And they're really serious. Their feet are so fucking flat and planted on the ground in basic third dimension that they are completely fucking oblivious to the sky cracking open and punching them in the mouth. Right? When that punch comes, it's going to fucking floor them because they won't even see it coming, folks, because they're so fucking flat-footed. But society at large has a demand for everything on this level. We want it right now. You see what I'm saying? We're like that. We're entitled. I like using these words, and y'all don't process. But we're entitled. So 1 trillion animals got to go every year to the point that we got to fucking pump them with steroids and to get them to reproduce whatever we need from them because we're not letting the natural order, which I said you guys have violated and don't respect that on all levels in your conscious hearts. And that's important because you're all individuals. On individual levels, you have this, and I say the Lord always is in control, but you guys play on words. When I say free will, the little space in you that you think is you is still him, but that space, in that space, you have decisions. You have a conscious reasoning or placement where you can evaluate other things and other conscious beings in your existence. Right? You can realize and reason that you guys are coexisting versus it's just your world. You understand? When you think like that, people suffer. Now, who's suffering, folks? We just talked about the animals, right? And we talked about their plight. Remember that video that went viral probably where the cow escaped? There was a truck full of cows being taken off to the slaughterhouse or something. And one of the cows, a pregnant cow, fucking figured out how to get the latch off and jumped out the fucking truck. Right? And no one was reasoning that cow had a life and it was fighting for its life. Just like you would do, right? Many of you are going to go through many things coming down the pike very soon, right? Where your lives may be in jeopardy. A lot of you will get taken out here by the heavens themselves, with these great, supernatural situations. I saw the news report. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up. Lots been going on, right, lately. But we've had these, they were talking about the major windstorms, they're going to get up to 100 miles per hour, right? All of the things that the weather things are causing, all of these conditions around the world society, every single day that are ramping up, right? And the best is yet to come. And when I say the best, I'm talking about the greatest of things that will completely change the landscape and the ideological dynamic of the whole framework of society. The best of you are itching for those times to come, right? You're waiting on these days. That is what the faith is about, right? The Lord did not give me word to do an issuance today, but there were some things we talked because, like I said, I went out there and I took that tuna sandwich out there to the shed and I called, on these critters and told them to come out, called them by their name, and they came out and I, threw the sandwich to them and they appreciated it. And they actually thanked me, right? They actually thanked me, folks, because they understood. See, we're in that place. They understood that I was considering them. They understood that on an emotional level. See, you guys you're not getting it. The force that powers you is the very same thing that powers everything else. Right? When we're talking about separating people and trying to figure out who has the vibration and who doesn't, it's very easy for me because I'm looking for certain things. I keep telling you this. When I talk to the average person, they think I'm just doing trivial talk or just engaging them in their trivial talk. Sometimes I do a lot of listening, but I'm really trying to gauge who they are. Because I'm trying to see who the average person is. And I'm seeing the same thing. You see, if you're not feeling pain right now, not because on a technical level you're out of money, yeah, that's going to give you a certain amount of pain. But I mean a pain of longing for something greater and knowing that everything is fucked up and seeing it for what it is. Right? Seeing everything for what it is. You know? And I talk to you guys and I come out here and I try to give you this knowledge. And I want you to understand that this has been an incredible journey for me over these many, many years. It has been fucking incredible. And I'm working on things, right? And in the new day, folks, there's a lot to learn. But you have to start internally, right? You have to understand how your heart connects to that new day. A society of people who all consider each other. Right? And many of you scoff at that because this is all you know. This is what I'm saying. You're products of your own, situations. So when the time comes, your ignorance and your vibration, you're not worthy of a new day, folks. You're not even, some of you are not even intelligent enough to grow, to want to reach for that. But the only way to that is through the Most High, folks. So I talk a lot, and you guys study your little books and doctrines and stuff, which I respect, because like I said, if those doctrines around the world are talking about the end and are talking about reckoning and are talking about the Lord's wrath in His day, then you're right, you're correct, because this is what's happening right now, right? Now I'm privy to the actual hands and the muscle who are actually performing these things, and privy to have the ear of the Most High Source Creator Himself, who many of you scoff at my ability to have this blessing. But it's my blessing, folks. And I'm very thankful for it, right? I don't really care how you feel about that, no matter who you are, right? And so a lot of people, I've had people ask questions. I'm not talking to my viewership, but I'm talking about these other folks out here, these other prophets on many levels around the world. They have different names around the world culturally, but they're still doing the same thing. If they're showing you how to tap into the energy, to the power. I've heard some of these gurus and some of these yogis and stuff. I've heard them actually tell you, and maybe I misunderstood what they were saying, but I've actually heard them say at times to ignore the Most High. Because it was about self-realization. And remember, narcissists think on self levels. Demoniacs think on self levels, folks. The holder of your life is you, folks. Right? The Lord knows everything about you because He is you, folks. Do you now understand? He is the knower of all things because He is all things. Therefore, He does actually know all things. Right? I don't know everything, folks. There are technical third dimensional things as I walk in this bullshit hamster wheel shit situation like you guys. I don't even know things on that level. And I don't care. I don't even consider those things. But the things I'm privy to, folks, I speak about the Most High Source Creator of the universe. His name is Vishnu, folks. He has many names culturally in your doctrines around the world society on this world that you live on. But let's take it beyond this world. You guys speak on the many worlds, and yes, they are true, folks. The doctrines that tell you that there are many worlds, no matter what doctrine you're looking at, is telling you the truth, because I'm verifying these things for you. Everything that I have heard in my studies of these doctrines around the world, no matter what they are, I have heard glimmers of the truth because I am walking in that truth, folks. Everything that the great prophets that you guys speak on had experienced in your biblical doctrines, I have experienced those things. I have seen the swords of wrath, folks. I have seen all of these things, and I keep telling you this. I know the chariots personally, folks, right? So when I tell you His name is Vishnu, that is His name, folks, but He is Shiva and Brahma, and these are aspects of Himself, folks. When I'm talking to Him, folks, I'm talking to Him. He is Vishnu, but at the exact same time, He is Shiva and He is Brahma at the exact same time, folks. Right? He is also the sun, moon, and the earth, who I am with every day, who is sitting right here, right now, as I speak, folks. Who is present right now. The great sun is present right now. But the great son bows at his feet. They are extensions of him, folks. Nonetheless, they are still him. He holds the universe. He holds your life, right? So when you guys see some of this imagery, like you may see some of these statues and different things, and you may see him depicted with many arms and faces, and I see him, folks. You're looking at his extensions, folks, the different aspects of him, folks. When I'm with the great sun or the beautiful moon goddess or beautiful Mama Earth, when I'm with them, I am still always with him, folks. In real reality, they are extensions of him, folks. Right? And I keep trying to show you and teach you how this science breaks down on every level. When I'm talking to the trees, they are actually Mama Earth, folks. They are extensions of her. Even though I know her personally, even though she's here right now personally, when I go out on the path and take a walk, all of the trees are still her, folks. They have their own personalities, their own names, and they look the way they look and everything. But in real reality, if I look a little bit deeper, I'm looking at Mama Earth. Do you understand how this works? When I'm talking to Mama Earth or I'm talking to the great sun or the moon goddess, when I look at them, if I look a little bit harder, I see the Most High Source Creator, whom I give praise. His name is Vishnu, whom is Shiva, whom is Brahma. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Right? I have been given his bow, folks. Right? I have been given his bow. His arrows do not miss, folks. And you'll get that. Some of you may get what I'm saying here. I'm trying to show you that in every way, when I talk to you guys, I'm giving you the proof, and that is what I stand on. We're not trying to argue about right or wrongs at this point when the ground is opening up, because I'm looking for the new day. I'm looking for the people who want the new day, right? I'm looking for the people who want to take instruction on what the chariots are going to do, because they know that I know the chariots, folks. You understand what I'm saying to you? I want you to hold faith in your doctrines, but I want you to understand that everything has a purpose and there's a reason for all of this, right? So when I speak of Vishnu and Shiva and Brahma, I speak on them because I personally know them. I'm speaking on my experiences. I'm not speaking on the Vedas. Even though the Vedas are literally the things that describe the science and everything, right? All of your doctrines, these are just doctrines, folks. All of these things are doctrines to be respected on the levels that you're on. But see, the Lord blessed me on this level, folks. And because I have been shown so many greater things, folks, I know the greater things that are coming. And I'm awaiting those things. I have experienced those things, folks. I am with the heavens every day, right? So you guys still believe in the powers that the quote unquote fake ass kings and authorities that run you, no matter where you are, right? See, if you're righteous in your heart at this point, you want to see these people gone. You're not trying to compromise with these people on any level because they're devils. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you, right? I'm only speaking to you about my experiences because the hands that will bust your motherfucking faces are present, right? And when they get word from the Most High Source Creator whom I serve, who has actually given me word to do the video tonight. Because I asked him if I should do the video tonight versus whenever he tells me to do word, I ask him about if I should do it tonight versus doing it, tomorrow or something, right? And for some reason, he'll let me know right away, and he'll touch my heart and let me know right away, folks. But see, beyond me having that, I have the actuals, is what I'm saying, folks. You guys do not, the great sun does not jump out of the sky for you. And when I say that to you, how do you process that? Right? See, that's what I want you guys to understand. Many of you can't see things for what they are, and that is why you're going to miss out on everything. You understand what I'm saying to you. You guys want to run from the chariots or look at them in some type of foreign way. However, when the ground opens up and these fucking devils are shooting nuclear missiles that are killing everything in sight with this radioactive fallout, you're going to want those fucking chariots to deliver your asses somewhere. And now here's where we get to the good part. Those who have that special lottery ticket, They're gonna get escorted to the right places and the safe places because Mama Earth holds the ground you stand on. So when I tell you that I am in family with the ground you stand on, this is what I'm standing on, folks. You see what I'm saying? I give you examples, folks. If this were an issuance day, I would tell you something and you would watch it take place right in your face, right? And I'm trying to show you that that is the power that you need to fear. His name is Vishnu, and I give him praise. He holds the universe, folks. You folks don't know what the universe, folks, looks like. You don't know what stars that you look at in the night sky. You don't know what they look like up close because you don't know them, folks, right? But to have an understanding of the reality of that is a severe and great, great blessing. Right? Some of you get a couple of dollars in your pocket and you think you're blessed, and I laugh at that. I scoff at that shit. Because too many of you are caught up in this world society. It's how I started this video off. The egos. If you're not feeling pain, I'm disgusted because the average person I meet is caught up in this matrix. Considers themselves based on things they have, right? Considers value in other people based on basic technical things that they have that can be taken from them in the fucking second, like I've shown you, right? The Lord has shown you this. I have spoken on it, and he has given you that example because he's backing me up, okay? So I'm going to have a nightcap, and then I'm going to go to bed, and I just came on to talk about that because, you know, I've realized that a lot of people are going to get swept out of here just based on their ignorance, just based on what they're into right now, right? They're trying to figure out how to load up on bullets, right? Because they're thinking about fighting that person, the next man who's breathing air. They're not thinking about the fact that the air holders are going to bust their fucking shit. You understand? They're not even considering that. They're not fearing. You see what I'm saying? Who do they fear, folks? Who do they bow to, folks? You're not grabbing the greatness of his greatness, folks. Okay? The heavens who make your air and give you sunlight and water, and you have not paid them a dime, can take those things from you because just like you have free will in your space, well, they're gods and they have free will in their space. And they choose to serve and be in service to the Most High Source Creator because they're righteous. Right? And they are extensions of him, folks. But on a bigger level, the whole entire universe is an extension of him. When he extended his hand for creation, folks, what makes you fucking believe that you separated from him and became your own thing going on? That's why you guys exist in carnal fucking mentalities. I look forward to seeing you swept out of here. Right? I like to thank the folks who, the new subscriptions I've gotten over the past couple of weeks or whatever. And I really appreciate you guys because this is not about sensation. I don't want you looking at the videos because you want me to do magic tricks and shit, right? I want you to look at the videos to think about what you're looking at and to think about the power that powers your lives. I don't want you to get caught up in your ego and get caught up in my haircut and how I speak or something or whatever you're looking at that's not important. If I'm showing you the ground opening them up, right? If I'm telling you that the great ones will do this or do that, right? And you see this and they're supporting my words, then you need to listen to what I'm saying because when the chariots come, folks, you're going to want to have that ticket, okay? Y'all stay tuned.